Day 3 in the afternoon. This guy's fired up. Nice. Yes, love it. How you doing? You enjoying it?
Oh, yeah. No, it's good. I'm just super jet lagged.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's it, you know.
You need like an energy drink. What's this little seltzer you got
I
here?
don't know what this is.
So you are Josh from Supra. Maybe I'd love to hear your take, because I heard your keynote earlier today. I'd love to hear your argument for why all of their solutions and it seems like, if I can think through what your keynote was this morning, you think their solution to scaling Ethereum and scaling crypto, you think all of them get it wrong.
Well,
Is that a fair thing to say?
Yes. No. I mean, the thing is, no one really actually knows. To be honest, it's still relatively nascent. Now, the thing that really is beautiful about blockchain is composability and shared liquidity. The moment you fracture this into layer 2s and layer 3s, it just really ruins the proposition, in my opinion, of what blockchains can do that other databases can't do.
At the moment that you turn L2s into L3s, you're saying?
Just when you fracture liquidity and composability. So do I think that they're wrong? I mean, no. Considering Ethereum's constraints, they're right. But I think you should scale the layer 1. You know, and I also want to point out, you know, back in the day, 2018, Ethereum's strategy was like 1,064 shards. And the L2 roadmap was more of an emergency pivot, right? Because you had like AVAX, Solana coming to market, and Ethereum had to do something here. So this wasn't, in my opinion, like a planned event. It was more of an emergency. They had to do something. So the roll-up roadmap kind of came to fruition, and we're here today. But what happens is, you know, like I said, you get funds and money, liquidity in different silos, and that's just going to end up being a worse user experience.
So if I understand your argument correctly, it's that so Ethereum was growing and Ethereum was great, and then in 2021 you get these like alt L1s, there's like Solana and AVAX and things like that, and then I think, as I hear your argument going, Ethereum said, oh shit, we need to like rapidly figure this out, and we're going to move on to this L2 roadmap, and what that did is it really fragmented the liquidity, and now Ethereum is in the place that it is now, and it's being maybe outcompeted by other, you know, what has been termed monolithic chains. Is that the right argument?
Yeah, I mean, also, Ethereum is relatively slow, you know, in terms of finality. And yes, they have optimized for World War III resistance, which is great. But I think they over-optimized for that. There's ways to have a high-performing system and still have a lot of replication of the database.
Do you think where Ethereum is at today is they can come back from? So let's say you are spot on with this thesis. Do you think they can come back from this? Is there a way to pivot? If you were Vitalik or you were, you know, CEO of Ethereum today, could you pivot Ethereum into working again?
Well, it depends on what they are trying to accomplish. Like if they really want to hold on to, you know, millions of nodes type of approach, that's going to be very difficult to scale. The more nodes the system has as active validators, you're going to always have more latency. Now, I think Ethereum should be studying more of what's coming out in the literature, as well as what, you know, the latest blockchains, you know, Sui, Aptos, Supra are doing. It's very high performing. I mean, we're talking about outcompeting Visa.
Yeah. Maybe for those who don't know in the room, what is Supra?
Supra is an all-in-one blockchain, a vertically integrated blockchain. So it's a high-throughput layer 1 with native price feeds, cross-chain communication, automation, on-chain randomness, services that every blockchain needs. You know, we know that there's product market fit for layer 1, there's product market fit for oracles, there's product market fit for bridges, on-chain randomness, automation, and we have an architecture and design to put them all into one network.
What's the backstory?
The backstory? Well, back in 2017, November.
Like, did you guys get this thesis right from the beginning? And in your view, did you get it right from the beginning? Was there, you saw where Ethereum was going after this, like, you know, pivot to the L2 roadmap? When do you guys think you really started to get the thesis right?
I mean, so back in 2017, in November, this is even before proof of stake, I had this insight that we should be randomizing node selection to scale Ethereum, actually. And Ethereum has different versions of this. But I also, so back then in my kind of, you know, I was quite naive, and I was trying to think of how do I get randomness on a blockchain? And my answer was, well, I guess we need oracles. So it was very intuitive that a blockchain, to me at least, that blockchain should have oracles. And very simple design and kind of laughable design back then was, okay, we're going to use oracles, connect to weather data, stock data, different kind of chaotic systems, chaos theory, and use that as a source of randomness to do the node selection. So that was the original kind of idea. And the kind of key moment, though, is this notion of this architecture called tribes and clans. These clans are randomly sampled subcommittees, smaller sets of nodes that can do various services. Now, I got a lot of it wrong, you know, and it was only till maybe 2021 where it started to be, I grinded it a lot with my co-founder in our crypto lab for years during the bear market of 2018, 19, 20. And we experimented with all kinds of things. But it was only until we were able to recruit someone that is actually very famous in the cryptography world. He's the inventor of KZG commitments. So KZG is utilized in Ethereum data availability, as well as EigenDA. The K is Dr. Kate. He's the inventor of KZG. He's our chief research officer. So I had engaged him for something called distributed key generation, and I wanted to do a nested DKG. And I just cold emailed him. I mean, I read like all of his material, and he actually responded. This is like in 2019. Slowly started to build a relationship with him, and he became an advisor. And eventually, I asked him, as we got our first funding in like early 2021, to join us full time. And he's been with us since.
So you brought up maybe better solutions to Ethereum instead of the L2 roadmap might be, you said Solana, Aptos, Sui, and Supra. Why do people, what have you guys gotten, it sounds like you maybe got the tech right. What have you guys gotten wrong? And what do you think, I think like Solana is a bigger name than Supra today, right?
Oh,
Aptos is a bigger name than Supra. So like why is that?
Well, we're still in testnet, so we've been building for some time. And what we're building is quite complex. It's not just a smart contract platform and consensus. And we're not a fork of anything. We created a very high throughput, low latency consensus algorithm called Moonshot. Moonshot has been formally verified by the Microsoft Ivy Checker, so this is great news. And we are standing on the shoulders of giants in terms of the classical literature from the late 90s for consensus protocols. So you have like PBFT, you have hot stuff, you have, what was that from the Facebook team, Jolteon, and then we basically took that to this maximum edge, and we were able to propose a block like every round. And this says the insight was basically voting in blockchains is actually very little data. So we just send the information, the votes to everyone, and we can kind of condense and like deeply, densely pipeline the whole process. And we can also decouple the voting from the block dissemination. Long story short, it's very high performing and it's formally verified. Truth be told, Ethereum's consensus, Solana's consensus will not pass formal verification.
Do you, in your experience, do people care about this?
Computer scientists do.
Are computer scientists your end customer?
In the end, what's going to happen is, in my opinion, is the systems that are going to be stable in the long term. I know, by the way, formal verification doesn't necessarily mean that the implementation is going to be without bugs, right? It just means that theoretically, when you run this through basically infinite iterations, it won't fork. Now, that said, of course not. Computer scientists are not our end consumer. But I think in the end, I think maybe 5-10 years from now, I think enterprise will definitely be looking for this, because they want to have a blockchain that's not going to buckle, and have liveness failures, because liveness failures will cause a lot of economic damage. If your chain's off for a day, but you have 1,000 dApps, that's 1,000 days of business that is kind of lost.
So the end customer for Supra, as you see it, is maybe more of a financial institution, less of a, Poly Market or Jupiter or like a crypto native app?
No, it's a general purpose. Okay. It's for everyone. The thing that we can do differently is that we enable new use cases and business models because we vertically integrated the layer one with like automation and price feeds, cross-chain communication, and on-chain randomness. These are Oracle services. Basically, every AVS on, from EigenLayer, that's an instance of vertical integration on Ethereum. Those are generally Oracle services on top of Ethereum. So that is a trend of vertical integration.
How do you think about maybe the social layer of crypto? So let's say, sure, yeah. I mean, I'm not smart enough, honestly, to understand if you guys have the technology right or not. Sounds like you guys are very smart and have it right. How do you think about maybe the social layer and more of the marketing and customer acquisition side of building a chain?
Yeah, I mean, that's, humans are humans. Ultimately, it's what the majority of humans want to do. In terms of marketing, that's why we're here. We actually have 500,000 people that are participating in our gamified airdrop. We're just not that well known in the Western community.
You guys are in Asia? You're in Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, Taipei.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually Korean, but I live in Hong Kong. But we KYC'd all these folks, and we have participants from, I think, over 50 countries. We capped the countries maximum to 50,000. These folks are all KYC'd, so we know they're verified users. We've gone through 75 weekly missions. So they had to actually study, and we randomized the quiz to get the quiz right. So we kind of educated our community. I think we have a silent audience. They're there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So did I get it right that did you guys start as an Oracle, if I understood that story correctly?
Yeah, so actually, we actually always had a blockchain. We just didn't promote it or talk about it. We thought it'd be easier to enter the market as an Oracle. This is back in 2021. It was really only Chainlink, and it was too difficult to kind of launch and compete with Solana and the AVAXs of the world. So we wanted to just enter the market with an Oracle solution, which we theorized would be faster than Chainlink and more decentralized, which it is. And but like we told our seed investors, like FTX and 3AC, that we were gonna be a layer one.
Lovely.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother can of worms. I mean, but bottom line is we had some great backers: Animoca, Hashed, Coinbase. And the strategy we told them straight up is we're going to market as Oracle, but before we go to mainnet and DG, we're going to actually reveal we're a layer one vertically integrated layer one with Oracles.
Interesting. Huh. What do you think of this idea of vertical integration right now? Because I feel like the kind of news of the week is like Unichain. And I think there's this idea right now that, okay, all the apps should launch chains, right? And I mean, personally, I kind of actually disagree with that. But I'm curious what you think about that.
I definitely disagree with that. I think it's going to fragment liquidity and break smart contract composability, which is the most beautiful thing about blockchain. So I think it's that idea. And Supra has a solution called Supra Containers, which can give you an app chain-like experience. You can have your own gas token, set your own gas fees, have your own decentralized governance, any form of governance, but it exists on our layer one, which means that these containers can be composable with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I understood that part. What do super containers unlock that, like, I don't know, the OP stack doesn't?
Yeah, so these you can almost imagine these containers being a logical partition of the blockchain, and you have your own kind of DApp space, your own execution quota of the total amount that we can handle. And we're very high throughput, low latency, so it's very inexpensive. Now, a super container gives you an app chain or L2 experience. You can have your own community, your own decentralized governance, your own token, your own gas token, and your own pricing. So when I talk about unlocking new revenue sources and business models, for example, let's suppose this is a container that is a gaming container. This is an example, like classic one I use. Maybe the transfer of an NFT in that gaming container is half a penny on Supra. But they mark it up to 25 cents. Now, that is not a 50% markup, that's a 50x markup. That's revenue for the container owners. So we do think the application layer will capture the value. So this is another way to do it. But what's nice about this approach is that it exists on our layer one, so we have composability and shared liquidity. And we also have native price feed oracles and bridge and cross-chain communication, automation, on-chain randomness. So we believe this is strictly better It solves for the L2 fragmentation, and this is only possible on high-throughput layer 1s.
Mm. Do you have maybe zooming out from just Supra for a second? Like, do you have an idea on what any things that are starting to feel really obvious to you about how crypto will start to look and develop in 2025 and 2026? Things that feel very obvious to you that maybe don't, as you're looking and walking around this conference, you're like, oh my God, all these people are totally missing what I'm seeing here.
Full vertical integration. So I have several I have several instances of this. So EigenLayer is using restaking to vertically integrate on Ethereum nodes, Oracle services. AVSs are often Oracle services. Sui is rolling out their own bridge. Aptos is rolling out their own on-chain randomness. These are vertical instances of vertical integration. Supra has gone to market or will be going to market soon, but has designed our architecture to do this from the get-go, whereas these are afterthoughts for these other projects.
Okay. Westy, will you tell me? I have no idea how much time Westy. Oh, great. Cool. We have 3 minutes left. What do you want to cover?
Well, I mean, I want to be clear that, I do have strong opinions that the L2 strategy is not ideal, but this may be necessary for Ethereum. Okay, but other next generation blockchains will probably not really do this. Of course, you can. Anything like restaking layer 2s can work on any high throughput layer 1. So if the use case comes up, it can happen on Supra as well. Supra is not just in the EVM chain, by the way. We're actually move language based, but we provide multi-VM support. So move language, EVM's coming next, and then Solana VM.
Oh, interesting.
And it's possible, really possible, that Solana apps could perform better on Supra than Solana itself. It might take 6 to 8 months, but because we just have a better consensus algorithm.
Huh, that's interesting. Will folks start to, so I did a chat with Anil from Rome Protocol earlier in the conference, and he was talking about kind of modularizing the Solana stack. So maybe you could have this part of Solana, maybe use DA from Celestia, maybe you have execution here. Do you have thoughts on if that could start to happen to Supra?
So modular development is for any wide scale, internet scale service, you do want to build in a modular manner. And we do at Supra, meaning it's like a mega monolith, but each component is a module. So we can swap out our consensus algorithm if we find something better. We can change our Oracle protocol without touching the consensus. We have a data availability built into our process. So these components can be updated and upgraded without changing the whole system. We have a decoupled data dissemination from consensus and decoupled consensus from execution. It's well known to decouple a consensus from execution, but it's not well known to decouple data dissemination from consensus. And we've done that, and this is part of how we get these results.
Interesting. You're starting to see, maybe the last question I have is you're starting to see some of these Solana L2s, like Zeta did a Solana L2, and I think there's a couple more coming soon, sounds like. Is your thesis on blockchains is that eventually they will need L2? Do you think there will eventually, maybe 5 years or 10 years, will there be L2s on Supra? Do you think blockchains eventually need L2s if they bring more and more value on chain, or do you think all of the value in the world can eventually live on one blockchain?
I think there's going to be a couple power law distribution of high throughput blockchains that win, and I think these blockchains themselves mostly will not, but there may be some customizations. Now, I believe Anatoly also doesn't think that it's necessary to have L2s on Solana, and I kind of have the same view.
Yeah. Cool. Josh, thanks a lot.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming from Hong Kong. Thanks, everyone.